Hello everybody and welcome back to the first YouTube video I've actually filmed in quite a while. If we haven't met before, my name's Laura. I am an author. I have recently announced that my second and very long awaited novel is finally available for pre-order. So Matilda's Run will be coming November 22nd. This is the cover. I am incredibly happy with how it turned out. So Matilda's Run is a historical novel. It's set in Australia, as all my stories have been so far. So it's set after World War II, and it kind of follows how the main character Matilda and all the characters around her deal with life getting back to normal after the war. Like, how does life go back to some sense of normality after something so catastrophic and so tragic has happened on such a large scale? So basically that's how the story progresses, like through all the different characters' experiences and how they individually cope with what's happened to them. So when I announced the pre-order last week, which I will put all the links to all the ebook sites, my website where you can buy print books. It's the only place you can buy print books at the moment. So I'll put all the links to those pages in the description box below. So when I announced the pre-order last week, I did put a call out to my mailing list and my Facebook followers. If there's any questions that you wanted to know, any answers that you'd really love me to hear. Any questions you'd really like me to answer is probably what I meant there. So if there's any questions you'd really like me to answer, send them through and I'll pick a few out to answer them. So that's what I'm doing now. Okay, so first question. What inspired you to write this novel? That's a really good question. In 2016, when I published, it was just after I published my novella Tomorrow, which I happen to have a copy sitting right here so I can show you that. A friend of ours actually gave me a book she found, and I think this is it here. Yes, so she actually gave me a book she found, which is a book of poetry by Beverly Johnson Blewett. Beverly Johnson, maiden name Blewett. It's called The Smell of the Gum Leaves, and it pretty well follows her memories and experiences growing up in the Victorian High Country. So Matilda's Run is not set specifically in the Victorian High Country, but it is set in a fictionalized version of an alpine or subalpine area. So it takes a lot of inspiration from the High Country. And reading through these poems, she writes so vividly that it created this landscape in my head. And through that landscape, these characters started to form. So first of all was Matilda, the main character. The next character was actually Jem. So he plays quite a big part in the story, sort of in the first half, and then not so much in the second half, but he is a very central character. So those two were the first characters I kind of fleshed out. And as their backstories and their experiences and how they reacted to those things started coming together, all these other characters started introducing themselves. So we also find out the experiences of Maddie's older two brothers, Peter and Jack, who didn't make it home from the war. There's a character called Hugh who had a very easy war, and it wasn't until he came home and has a very overbearing father, that's where his difficulties lie. There's a whole heap of characters in it, and all their experiences are different. So it touches on all of them in varying ways and varying degrees. So basically, the poems in this book here, inspired this landscape in my head, which in turn inspired the characters in the landscape, and then the characters drove the story, basically. Okay, next question. which character is your favorite? This leads on quite nicely, actually. So probably my favorite character would have to be Jack. So Jack is Maddie's second brother. She has 3, Peter, Jack, and Tom. The story kicks off in chapter 1 when Maddie returns home after Tom has died as a result of the injuries he sustained during the war. So, but what really drives the story forward, which happened years before this, is Jack promised he would not go to war, and Jack broke that promise. And then that snowballs everything on that happens afterwards. And Maddie's got a lot of baggage from that. She blames Jack for her whole family falling apart. She lost Peter. She eventually lost Tom. So Jack was definitely, he doesn't feature a lot in terms of screen time. Like, not a lot of the story is told from his point of view. But he was definitely one of the more fun characters to write when he does feature. And I think he definitely has one of the best character arcs. I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, Jack was good. I like Jack. He's a bit of a larrikin, but he's good. Are you a plotter or a pantser? Good question. Anybody who doesn't know what those terms mean, a plotter is basically a writer who plots everything out, plans everything, usually quite meticulously. And a pantser is somebody who flies by the seat of their pants. So basically, you have a general idea and you make it up as you go along. I am a little bit of both. So I do plot to a point. I have to sort of know, I have to know where the story starts. I have to know where the story ends. I usually have a few ideas for some points along the way. But otherwise, I generally plot the characters. I plot what I need the characters to achieve or not achieve, or what their reactions have to be to certain things. And then from there, once I know what those points are, I pretty well just make it up. I get to know my characters, and then I listen to the story from there. Like, they tell me what the story needs to be, basically, which can be really frustrating sometimes when you want them to do something specific and they're just sitting there saying, no, that's not what's happening. We're doing this, and you're like, okay, we'll just have to go with it. What's next? I have actually had quite a few people asking me already if there's going to be a sequel. So thank you for your interest, because the book hasn't even come out yet. It's coming November 22nd. So thank you. What's next? I do have a couple ideas that I was sort of planning I might write next. Totally different projects. This book has nothing to do with any of my books before. And I have some ideas for same thing, books that have nothing to do with this book. But when I finished writing this book, one of the supporting cast, I guess you'd say, they actually, I don't think their story is finished. I think there's a bit more to tell. I feel like this particular character has had a very specific set of experiences in the past, and they've still got a bit of baggage from that. And I just feel like that this one particular character just deserves a bit more of their own story. I really don't want to give anything away. I'm trying hard here. But yeah, I've started working through some ideas on that. I haven't started writing anything yet, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm pretty excited for where that one might lead. Okay, so that's all the questions I'm going to answer today. I don't want this video to get too long. If you have any more though, if anything sparked your interest, definitely send them through. I'd really like to do more of these question and answer videos in the future. So send them through, hit subscribe. I will be posting more videos. If there's anything specific you'd like to see me do a video on, please let me know. Even like the writing process, anything like that. So yeah, Matilda's Run is coming November 22nd. It's available for pre-order now. Links will be in the description box. I'll see you later.